Hello, hello. Welcome once again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 30-year veteran writer, illustrator, editor, and publisher of comics, science fiction, fantasy, horror, and role-playing games. This is a What Did You Get This Week, or actually the last 2 weeks, for comics episode. Got a lot of stuff to cover. Not sure if everything I've got here the last 2 weeks is actually around, but I didn't get a chance to read all of it. I tried. Running a little late, starting a little late because, well, the kitty decided he wanted to use me as his bed today. Would not get up off me after I had dinner. I guess he's just cold or something. Who knows? North is in the house. North Free, Even the Raven, and Hail the Mighty Chats. Pop Culture Avengers in there as well. Hopefully John and others will show up. We don't know, but we'll see. What all we got today? Well, we got our sponsor. Again, this week from Saturday, November 26th, from 10 to 7, Scratch and Spin, local comic music and entertainment store, is having a store-wide mega sale up to 50% off. They're giving away free comics. I'll be there from 12 to 4 with original artwork, prints, and books at discount. They'll also have a live band, King Saul and the Heretics, from 12:30 to about probably 1:30 there as well. So lots of cool stuff going on at Scratch and Spin a week from Saturday. If you are in the Columbia or West Columbia or Lexington, South Carolina area, please do stop by. Okay. Like I said, we've got quite a bit of stuff. Let's start with back issue number 140 for $10.95. Dinosaur theme with Mark Schultz's Xenozoic Tales, and also known as Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. They had an interview with William Stout. They had a history of Marvel's Mutant Dino Man Sauron. They have Dinosaurs for Hire, Dinosaur Rex, Dino Riders, Jurassic Park comics, Godzilla at Dark Horse Comics article in there as well. So definitely one of the best issues of back issue in a while. Certainly the best issue of this year. About the only thing missing was a Walt Simonson interview for his love of dinosaurs and how he came up with his dinosaur signature as a quick little snippet piece. That's the only thing that was missing from the magazine. I give it 5 out of 5 stars. And pretty cool stuff. And here's the magazine. Let's open it up real quick. The first 2 things they do in the book is have memoriams to Neil Adams and George Perez. Of course, we lost them earlier this year, and we'll miss them certainly. First article, of course, is the William Stout article about dinos and different things he worked on, which is really interesting stuff. His Tarzan work that he did for Tarzan comic strip. Some more artwork there. Williams. Some more of Williams' dino work, and of course the covers to his King Kong comics that he did back in the 80s. Some of the covers he did for the Topps Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Whoops, there we go. Covers for Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, and then Harvey Kurtzman's Strange Adventures from Epic Comics, where they were making parodies of Marvel. Just a lot of cool stuff in that article. That interview was fun to read. You might not know this if you're familiar with the film Wizards by Ralph Bakshi, or Bakshi, I should say. You might think Mark Baudet did all the design art for the posters and stuff, but it really wasn't him. It was William Stout who did the Wizards movie poster. Mm-hmm. He also did the Life of Brian movie poster and a couple of others as well. So quite a interesting life he's had. The next article, well, first off, I love this one page, DC Special Dinosaurs, Danger Dinosaurs at Large with Captain Comet. I got to get a copy of that. But then they have a historical article on Sauron, which of course is the mutant dinosaur who feeds off mutant energies. Mm. Do I know the circulation? I used to. It's not as high as it should be. I know that. I'm pretty sure it's under 10K now, but I haven't talked to the publisher in a while. Usually I see him at conventions, but I haven't been doing conventions. So, but yeah, I'll have to talk to Michael and see what's up on that. Yes, the cartoon, the Cadillacs and Dinosaurs cartoon from CBS in the early 90s was pretty cool. I would recommend watching a couple of episodes of that. It doesn't look anything like Mark Schultz. Kind of hard to do that, but they do a nice job for it. I believe Nelvana was the studio who made that. Mm-hmm. Yes, they had her in there. But let's see what else is in here. Lord Dinosaur, the man with the dinosaur brain. Yeah, I mean, they got cool, oddball stuff in these magazines that you're just like, what's going on? And then, of course, the interview with Mark about the entire history of Xenozoic, or Xenozoic, I should say. And what inspired him was Turok and Fantastic Giants and other things. What that inspired him to make it. Different artwork of his. The Godzilla article with Randy Stradley, who was one of the Dark Horse's big editors at the time. Different designs of the monsters, Mothra and other critters. That's a nice pin up there. I don't know who did this one. Let's see. Oh, that's Bissett, Stephen Bissett. Okay. Yeah, Schultz is still active. He's still doing the book and stuff. He does a lot of different things through. Oh shoot, what's the name of their company? trying to think. I just showed you that Bernie Wrightson book a few days ago. It's the same company that did that, so I know that there's quite a bit there. Dinosaur Rex, which was from Upshot Comics. That's a cool book if you haven't seen that one. So there's all kinds of cool stuff in this magazine worth looking at. Really enjoyed that stuff. So definitely one of my favorite issues so far. Wait a minute, there is a Walt Simonson thing in here. Did I miss something somehow? Did I skip a page? Oh no. Okay, yeah, they do mention the there is a on the, like the next to the last page. He's in there. He mentions that his signature is a dinosaur. So yeah, they do a lot of really good stuff over there at that company. They've got Jusco, they've done Frank Cho, they've done Bernie Wrightson, Al Williamson, just a whole bunch of different people. So certainly a great company. Okay, our next book. I'm not going to show it, but I'm going to talk about it briefly. Ray Bradbury, Home to Stay, the complete Ray Bradbury EC Stories collection. I'm not going to review it yet. I'm saving it for Christmas because I bought it for Christmas. But I did take a quick look at it. It's an absolutely gorgeous production. And the work is so much more than the $75 price tag that the book has. Stories are done by a murderer's row of the best comic artists of that era, this is the EC era, so the 50s and 60s. We're talking about Wally Wood, Jack Kamen, Al Williamson, Kriegstein, Al Feldstein. Pretty much everybody not named Kirby or Ditko is in this book. And of course, you can argue that Ray Bradbury is one of the greatest writers, if not the greatest writer of the 20th century. It's oversized, and it's all inside is all black and white art, so you can get to just gush and drool at the nice craftsmanship of all the artwork without having the colors mess it up. So I'll be over the moon when I actually get to really sit down and read it, I'm sure. Again, we'll talk about this more extensively next month around Christmas time. But in the meantime, order it either through your comic shop, bookstore, online store, Fantagraphics, who published it, or at Amazon, and go get yourself a copy. Yeah, I think there was only one season of Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. It was only 13 episodes. I know it was Nelvana, and Nelvana kind of had its own issues at the time. And it was like the early 90s, so like 93 and 94. And trying to think. It was during that era where CBS was getting away from putting cartoons on at all. They were like pushing off the air to get more educational programming and get early sports football coverage. around that time. So they didn't really want to renew it, I think is what happened. But it's hard for me to remember since it was so long ago. Okay. Next book. Oh, I'll tell you who all the artists are now on that Home to Stay. I don't know why it was in the wrong order. As Johnny Craig, Reed Crandall, Jack Davis, Will Elder, George Evans, Al Feldstein, Frank Frazetta, Graham Ingalls, Jack Kamen, Roy Krenkel, Bernard Kriegstein, Joe Orlando, John Severn, Angela Torres, Al Williamson, and Wally Wood. So huge, over 300-page book. So there you go. And there's the ISBN number. I'll leave that up there for you to write down in case you want to look it up. Okay, next book is Cities of Magic, number 5. This is the last issue of the story arc, $4.99. Publisher Scout Comics with writers Jacob Free and Will Tempest. Art and colors by Will Tempest. Genre is fantasy. Released November 9th, 2022. It's the final showdown between Lev and Ismar. In the fight for his life, Lev's past, present, and future will all come to bear. Unfortunately for Lev, even if he somehow pulls off a miracle and bests Ismar, he'll still have to deal with the pesky matter of the slow-acting poison coursing through his veins. Not much to say about this. It was an okay ending to the story arc series, but truthfully, I burned out on it about either the last issue or the issue before that even. It just didn't really hold for me that much. Good world building, but the characters just didn't really grab me. Do recommend it for 16 and up, and I give it 3 out of 5 stars. It's just an average comic these days. Our next book series is Count Crowley Amateur Midnight Hunter issues number 3 and 4 for $3.99 each. Publisher Dark Horse Comics. David Dast Malkian, that's a heck of a last name, as a writer. Art by Lucas Kettner. Colors by Lauren Affey, and lettering by Frank Svetkovic. Released July for number 3, and number 4 was last week or earlier this month, November 22. If sobriety is supposed to bring some kind of serenity, then Jerry Bartman certainly ain't feeling it yet. Desperate to help her new werewolf friend, Jerry learned some startling history about Vincent Freitz and his time in the trenches of World War II. Meanwhile, the lunar clock is ticking as an inquisitive vampire grows increasingly curious about the new host of the Count Crowley show, which, of course, is Jerry. So now our little Alki, our little Alki TV host now has to learn how to defeat a vampire, which, contrary to popular opinion, sunlight, holy water, decapitation, stakes to the heart don't do all that much to help. If she's going to survive the night, she's going to have to learn more about monster immobilization, which is basically take the vampire's heart out of the chest and keep it separate. And that doesn't kill him, it just puts him in a stasis. Quite the different story there. What do I think of this? It's an interesting series, but it's not something I'm going to regularly read. Jerry Count Crowley is sort of fun as a character, but I really don't want to read about a recovering alcoholic monster hunter, especially when, since every other monster hunter comic I read, the main way the hunter copes with their reality is by being an alcoholic, which was kind of played up with the one shot with Cal McDonald and Count Crowley, Criminal Macabre, that I reviewed back on Halloween. You can go check that episode a couple of weeks back. But the good character is good in small doses, and I do like the cover here for number 4. It's recommended for mature readers, and I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Here's some of the art where she confronts the vampire, more or less. And her manager is telling her how he's going to set her up for a long have her syndicate a TV show on national syndication and stuff. She's like, no, not if you're dealing with him. Yeah, we always get sex bots on my show, don't we? I don't know why. They know you're all desperate for it, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, she calls the other vampire killer and asks about the details about how to kill the vampire and finds out she can't. So I think the coloring work by Lauren Offey is pretty nice here. The guy in the liquor store reading the magazine and reminds me of a different character from a completely different series. That has nothing to do with it, but I just thought it was amusing that he reminds me of the character. It reminds me of the drummer from the comic Holler, but different hair color, unfortunately. Next book, Junkyard Joe number 2, $3.99. Image Comics, written by Jeff Johns. Interior art by Gary Frank. Colors by Brad Anderson. Letters by Rob Lee. The cover depicted here is by Dan Jurgens and Norm Rapman with Anderson colors. Genre is science fiction. It was released yesterday. The story cuts to the present day from first issue. And Maury Muddy Davis is a retired cartoonist who made Junkyard Joe a famous comic strip. But he is haunted by the experience of meeting the robot in Vietnam and also the passing of his wife. After decades, the robot Joe shows up in the middle of the night as his doorstep. Why is Joe here? What has brought him back into Muddy's life? Meanwhile, Muddy also has new neighbors, a family who has recently lost their matriarch, and Joe has enemies hot on his trail. What do I think? Well, at least Johns isn't doing what I expected him to do. Or at least what I thought he was going to do, I should say. Not what I expected him to do. At the same time, there isn't all that much being said in this issue of the story yet. The cliffhanger of the robots after Joe is enough of a tease to keep you coming back for the next issue, but very little has been said about any of the characters, the human characters. Not enough about any of them to make the audience care. Everything is relied upon wanting to know who or what Joe is. And since this is supposedly some sort of spin-off from their comic series Geiger, which I haven't read and don't really have an interest in reading, it does make me wonder how much of the story was told over there and whether I'm going to like how this series works out. Someone did ask me if I still feel like this is a knockoff of DC's G.I. Robot, and yes, I do. I still have little doubt that Johns developed this story from a pitch that he made to DC with that property that just didn't get greenlit. Now, it doesn't mean this book is bad or anything. It just means that I'm still waiting to see something that really takes the story into left field, and so far, they're just barely driven up a side street. Ages 16 and up recommendation, 3.5 stars. And Kitty is having a fit for some reason. I don't know if you guys can hear him in the background. He's had his dinner. I think he's mad because he can't lay on top of me. But anyway. Yeah, the first Junkyard Joe is interesting. The second one, I'm just not. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a perfectly fine issue. I'm waiting for another shoe to drop, I guess. Next book, Lord of the Jungle #1, $3.99 from Dynamite Entertainment, written by Dan Jurgens, artist Benito Gallego, who does the current comic book strip, colors by Francesco Segallo with letters by Carlos M. Mangual, The featured cover here is by Dan Panosian. Hey, come here. Come here. Come here. What's the matter? Come here, baby. Come here. No, not going to. You're only going to go so far and lay on the floor because I can't get at you. All right, whatever. Action adventure, released November 9th. Dan Jurgens is taking on the writing of this series. Again, the interior art is by the comic strip artist Benito Gallego. It opens up with an old man version of Tarzan on board of a boat going back to his jungle homeland. This is in direct contrast to the traditional Tarzan, whom in the novels and in most other comics versions has learned the secret of eternal youth through longevity pills. I will not spoil the story, but this is something new for the character that is quite different. And much of the story is of Tarzan dreaming or reminiscing on his origins, of which Jurgens does take some other liberties to make some changes from the traditional tale. So this is a Tarzan unlike anything we've seen before in previous comics, but whether that's good or bad remains to be seen. What do I think? Well, Benito Gallego's art is nice. I already figured it would be. The coloring is better than I thought it was going to be, but I wasn't entirely thrilled with it either. The good is that even in the darker color palettes during night scenes, for example, Gallego's line art still seems to show cleanly through the page and is not quite colored to oblivion. All in all, it's a respectable opening issue, though I do think that the story may alienate the more obnoxious diehard fans of the character because of the changes. I was far more annoyed with the 26 different covers for the series, however. What the hell do you need 26 covers for a single issue for? But at least they do put a cover gallery in the back of the book, so you can at least look at the pictures, I guess. Rated for 13 and up, I give it 3.5 stars. No, he's not hitting the net. There's no catnip around. But he does this almost every night, or when he just gets silly. But yeah, 26 covers for that. And you wonder what's going on. Of course, I don't have the book right near me. I'll be right back. All right. There's the. I don't even remember what number cover this is. But I'm going to show you the gallery in the back because it's not even a real gallery per se, but it's like 3 pages. There's your cover A. I got cover B. There's cover C. A blank cover, which I'm going to get a blank cover. Remember when I told you earlier during the live draw show that my comic book shop called me to let me know that they got blank cover? That's what that is. They got the blank Lord of the Jungle cover, so I could do a sketch of Tarzan and make some money off this book. That all these different covers, and you just got to ask yourself, why? So, anyway, let's take a quick look at the interior art. As you can see, like I said, it does. The colors are a little dark in different areas. This is supposed to be dark because it's at nighttime on the sea, but you can still get all the line art that's being shown through. It's not completely burned out like a lot of color people do. these days. So I'm not too bad about that. But, I just kind of, if you like the classic look that Benito Gallego has, it has a kind of a John Buscema reminiscence to it. You might like the story. But remember, it does deviate from the traditional history of the character a little bit. Okay. Our next book. Pink Lemonade #2. The Oni Press edition, ages 12 and up, $3.99. Publisher Oni Press, of course. Creator is Nick Cagnetic, with a backup feature with art by Don Simpson. Lettering by Francois Viginal and Nick Cagnetti. Genre science fiction fantasy, released November 9th. I would have gotten it last week, but unfortunately I missed it and I already had cashed out. And so I put it in my folder for this week. What it's about. Our heroine, Pink Lemonade, is tricked by Barzabelli Jr., the demon from the other dimension, into signing a movie deal and is thrust into making a movie with action star Ron Radical. Can she survive the experience? And when she refuses to follow the script, will Barzabelli give her Barzabelli gives her the power to alter the storyline of the script? What happens next? In the backup feature, Pink and Ron go to a grade school art class to draw and color pictures with the kids. Yeah, I know, kind of crazy. Still high-grade stuff that the fans of Kirby's New Gods or Mike Allred's Man Mad will enjoy. The backup feature with Don Simpson's art was nice. Give it 4 out of 5 stars. That's what I thought. Okay. Here is the book. Now, I was buying this when it was first coming out before Oni picked it up. So these are kind of like reprints, but they're recolored, remastered. And this particular issue has the backup feature that wasn't in the originals. The story is pretty much the same. Like I said, so I'm pretty happy with the. I already knew I was going to like the story as far as that goes. But here's the free day stuff by Simpson, where they go to the art class, and it's kind of like basically Ron Radical. If you know who Don Simpson is, he does Megaton Man and stuff, so it still has that same vibe, whereas Nick's style is quite different. So, no, North. It doesn't look like Eric Larson at all. I don't know where you got that from, but okay. Nick's here. Oh, okay. Hi, Nick. I didn't even know he was in the room. I guess he noticed that he was being talked about today on the show. What's my printing? Oni Press has always been a fairly decent company. I buy a lot of stuff from them over the years. Of course, they were appropriated and merged with other companies, and that's changed some of the stuff that's going on. I'm not as familiar with the internal workings of the company as I used to be because of that. I do know that Nick seems to be pretty happy with them, even with the changes that have been made recently. So I look at it, if he's happy, I don't think any of us have a reason to complain, because I really haven't heard anything truly bad about Oni comparative to other companies. Sometimes I think they might be a little bit what's the word I'm trying to think of? indulgent of Cullen Bunn, but almost every publisher is indulgent of him nowadays. But he was one of their first guys, and he did a lot of books for them. But now that he's like everywhere, what can you say? Okay, our next book is Specs number 1, $3.99, publisher Boom Studios. Writer David M. Booher of Canto fame, as well as writing some of the Firefly comics for Boom. Artist is Chris Sheehan, colors by Roman Stevens, letters by Jim Campbell, with a cover by Skylar Partridge. Genre, I left blank because I just forgot to leave it blank. It's kind of like a dark horror comedy, I guess. I don't know. Released November 9th, 2022. All Kenny and Ted want to do is not feel like outcasts in their small Ohio town. Their world is turned upside down, though, when the magic specs they received unlocked a world of possibilities. Their wishes, these magic spec glasses, are not X-ray that you can see through. You wear them and you make a wish, and the wish comes true. So their wishes start out innocent enough, but when they wish that their bully would disappear, things take a cursed turn with far darker consequences than they thought possible. The duo, of course, are both gay, so they're like best friends who are gay. They don't know that one didn't know the other one was gay. They're friends. Are they going to be a couple or not? We don't know. Kenny is gay, doesn't know, hasn't come out yet, or told Ted how he felt. Then he finds out Ted's gay, so it's just a weird thing going on. Lest it destroy their friendship. Whoops, something is missing here. Okay, I don't know. But anyway, it's not my thing. I don't know what's going on here. My computer's being fussy. There we go. Maybe. Yeah, there's a page missing. Art-wise, Sheehan's art doesn't really grab me. He's not a bad artist. I'm just not feeling it. The colors are a bit garish in places, but at least it wasn't what I thought it was going to be going in, which, based on this cover, I thought it was going to be a They Live ripoff, because that is basically just right off the poster with Roddy Piper. Now, if they hadn't done the whole LGBTQ angle, which I'm sorry, that shit's been played out way too much in modern comics, and there are other reasons why people get bullied in high school, even if you're a junior and not a freshman. You're 17 years old, you get bullied. Okay, because you don't have any guts to stand up for yourself? I don't know. I am going to probably give it another issue to breathe and show me something, but I'm rather nonplussed about this series so far. Recommended for ages 16 and up due to the sexual overtones and some of the other stuff going on, but it's really a disappointment for Booher, based on what I've read from Canto and other things. This is like not his best work. I rate it 2.5 stars. We'll take a look at the artwork. And for some reason, there's just pages missing here, and I don't know why. But as you can see, the art is just kind of blah. The lockers are there. The guy trips the guy because he has a comic. He's going to, he's already rolled up the comic and ruined it, basically, at that point. And, so he's going to, start a fight or whatever. And finally, the one kid punches him, and there you go. But just kind of there. I've heard things, but just because Billy's back at Diamond doesn't really mean anything. I don't see where they're going full indie at all. I see it as the company is on its last legs. Steve Jeppy already retired once. They had to bring him back out of retirement because the people he left in charge kind of ran it, screwed it up. So he had to come back in out of retirement to fix it. And that was before all the companies started bailing on them. And you figure he's probably in his late 60s, early 70s. He wants to retire completely. But now nobody wants to buy the company because Diamond doesn't have Marvel or DC deals. So who knows what's going to happen, really, as far as that goes. Now, if it were up to me running Diamond, yes, they would be full indie, and they would change all their nonsense about different percentage discounts and everything. I would have it straight, unilateral discounts for everybody, no matter what book you publish, no matter what publisher it's from. And I'd eliminate all the damn crap about gimmick covers. You get 2 covers, a regular cover and a blank cover for sketching, and that's it. That's exactly what I would do if I was running Diamond. But it is what it is. So that's what I think about Diamond right now. Okay, now there were some other books I did get this past couple weeks. I just haven't gotten around to reading them yet. We'll be reviewing them on Monday. Voyages #1 from Image. I'm looking forward to reading that. Last week, from Ablaze, I got Traveling to Mars #1, which is a science fiction story about a lonely junkyard guy or something like that who gets shipped off to Mars. So I want to see what goes on with that. We have Resident Alien, the Book of Love #1 of 4 from Dark Horse. Of course, Resident Alien is a sci-fi TV series. I say screw the TV series, read the comic. And we had Mega Rise of the Black Swan #2. So I'll be reading all of these over the weekend, as well as finally getting around to reading Giant Size Two-Fisted Manly Tales from Graham Nolan's Compass Comics group. That has now, yes, it's 100 pages. It's nice hardcover, but that price tag on there, I hope it's worth it. That's all I can say. We'll find out. But that is that. And we also have another one called Monkeys Fighting Robots, Tales of MFR. Jimmy Jones of The Baboon is the artist on this with his writer, Matthew Sardo. Got that through Kickstarter a couple weeks ago. I need to get that read. And then, like I said, it's Heavy Metal Monday. So issue number 319. I got both editions. This is one cover, and this is the other cover. So there you go. That will be what we talk about on Monday. Is all that fun stuff. Quite a bit to talk about. Now, tomorrow, John Norris and I will be here at 8 o'clock to discuss the life and times of late Kevin Conroy, best known as the voice actor for Batman, the animated series, as Batman. He had a distinguished career beyond that as well, but I don't think a lot of comic fans out there know about his work or his history because, well, in case you didn't hear me last video, Kevin was gay, and came out, and of course he had issues and stuff, and how he played some of that, being in the closet and not out of the closet, helped him discover how he was going to portray Bruce Wayne and Batman and stuff like that. So it'd be pretty interesting to see what we come up with tomorrow. Pop Culture asks, Raven, do you think now is a time chance for some new wholesalers to enter selling comics to stores and get rid of Diamond's monopoly? Diamond doesn't have a monopoly. We've got, I mean, everybody, you got to go through Diamond, you got to go through Penguin Random House, you got to go through Lunar. There's one other distributor that almost every, it's like there's 4 of them now, as it is. And truth be told, Diamond never really did have a monopoly. They just carried what they carried. And retailers were lazy and just didn't want to do anything to get the rest of what was out there. Because what Diamond carried, even when they had all the publishers, only represented 8% of the market. The other 92% was digital exclusive because Diamond didn't want to carry it, or it was print on demand, and stuff that was crowdfunded and bought direct from the publisher, mail order type stuff, undergrounds and stuff. So, that it's been that way for 30 years at least. So, the Diamond monopoly is a misnomer. It was just retailers didn't want to do their jobs correctly. When you run a retail business, you have to use multiple distribution channels for your products. And if you aren't willing to do that, then eventually you're going to have a shrinking market that gets stagnant. And that's exactly what happened in the market. So, but as far as someone else, there have been so many attempts to try and build regional and national distribution again that I think the actual future of comics, and this is something that's going on not just with the print, but also the crowdfunding, is people are just going to stop using the crowdfunding platforms. They're going to stop using Diamond, and we're just going to have a bunch of online stores that you buy direct from the creators / publishers. That's something that's being talked about. Graham Nolan was talking about this. That's kind of why he formed a group he just recently formed, Spinner Rack Comics or whatever it's called. And they're talking about how there was shadow banning against Comicsgate books, specifically his books, Aaron Lopresti, a few other people. And what's happening is their campaigns disappeared off trending, and we don't know why. No one can give an explanation. So who knows what's going to happen with that. But I'm thinking that's more like where the future's going to be on that. Okay, let's see here. What else? I'm trying to make sure I got anything else here. All right. Now, Friday night, 8 p.m. for TV Talk with John and others. And then Saturday, we'll have another live draw, and we'll have the comics artwork and stuff for sale for a few hours as well. So that's all for this episode, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you enjoyed this episode, or you think others might, do me a favor, hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons to continue to get content from my channel. As always, I thank you for watching and for your support. Social media, you can find me on Facebook at Lewis.BrightRaven, at Twitter at LewisBrightRave2. I recommend Facebook first. I usually only post notices of when new episodes are going to be on Twitter. You can find more of my artwork on deviantart.com/BrightRaven. You've been watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven, exclusively on YouTube. If you have questions, comments, suggestions for topics to be discussed in future episodes, you have a commission that you want to order, Quoth the Raven LBR72@gmail.com is the address to reach out to me at. I'll get back to you within a day or two. Try lewisbrightraven@yahoo.com. And that is all for tonight, folks. So we'll see you tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Until then, have a great night, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.